in Gordon County. Tornado warning remains in effect here. We have other areas that are being impacted, but right now, the worst of the weather, the greatest tornado threat is in Gordon County, central Gordon County, getting very close to the interstate now, Brian. Let's come in closer, update this storm track. Here's Calhoun, so we're talking just south of the city of Calhoun in Gordon County. Here's I-75, there's Marine Drive, but here's the interstate. There's Calhoun just under the banner here, just to the north, and there's the area of rotation. There's the tornado indicated by radar approaching Marine Drive. McDaniels, the interstate, Blackwood, Calhoun at the top of your screen, radar indicated tornado. Go to your safe space. Some of the neighborhood streets in this area, there's Marine Drive, there's Highway 41, here's Old Fairmont Highway, that's Tucker Hollow Road southeast, there's Blackwood, Fairmont Highway, there's the interstate. So this storm rotating, a strong rotation signature on radar. The tornado warning remains in effect. Again, safe space is this. Lowest level of your house, a basement if you have one is your best choice. Then you go to an interior room, put as many walls between you and the outside of the building as possible, and you make sure you stay away from glass. Look at the winds here. 53 miles an hour away from the radar site, nearly 30 miles an hour towards. So we're talking over 80 miles an hour of wind shear, so to speak, in this rotating thunderstorm just south of Calhoun. Radar signature of a tornado. Let's check the correlation coefficient here, see if we've got any lofted debris signature. It's not a very well defined one, so no, not seeing that yet. There's a little lag time though. When a tornado touches down, picks up debris, and that could be building materials, it could be leaves, dirt, dust, whatever it is, and then it lofts it into the atmosphere thousands of feet up. That process can take several minutes. So sometimes we'll pick up a radar in rotation, and then it'll be a few minutes before we pick up that lofted debris signature, so watching for that. South of that tornado signature, strong straight line winds moving into Adairsville now, northwestern parts of Bartow County. So here's the interstate. Tornado indicated by radar south of Calhoun, just about to cross I-75. Southwest of there, strong straight line winds. This could take down trees, tree limbs, power lines, and a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for that. And then we have another area of rotation, a little more broad than what we have south of Calhoun, but still tornado development still possible here in west central Floyd County, headed generally in the direction of Rome. And Brian, we've got some reports in now from emergency managers in Chattooga County of some significant damage. So just to give folks that are being impacted now a look at the history, we have reports of 3/4-inch hail, also reports of a tree on a home in Tryon in Chattooga County, and in Menlo, also Chattooga County, trees down and power lines down on Edison Street. So that is large hail, tree on a home, trees and power lines down, all in Chattooga County. Brian?
And Brad, that tornado warning just extended now for Gordon County until 12:15. So that just in, National Weather Service seeing, what we're showing you on Storm Tracker 2 HD radar as this rotating thunderstorm, again, capable of producing a tornado moving right across I-75 just southeast of town in Calhoun. That's where we're seeing the tightest rotation right now on Storm Tracker 2 HD. Brad, while you're looking at some new information there, I want to pass along some of the streets where you need to be in your safe place. If these sound familiar to you, if you live near these areas, please be in that lowest level of your home right now. This is near Blackwood along Fairmount Highway, Tucker Hollow Road, Old Fairmount Highway, also Owens Chapel Road. These are areas just off to the east of I-75. Now, that's where we're seeing the core of that rotation, passing by Marine Drive southeast, passing just to the east of Highway 41. This is on the south side of Calhoun in Gordon County, where we have a tornado warning and a very prominent rotation signature on Storm Tracker 2 HD radar. I want to go back to our correlation coefficient again, just to remind you this is a way we can pick out whether a storm is lofting debris. Now, one thing to keep in mind, we're a little high up here, so we're looking kind of at the mid-levels of this storm. This is about a mile or so above the ground, so it is possible there is debris, but it just hasn't been lofted quite to this level, because we are getting reports of some power lights down in Gordon County associated with this storm here as it crosses I-75. So, Brad, right now, no signature of lofted debris. Doesn't mean they're isn't below the radar beam, but that's what we're seeing right now in Gordon County. Let's widen out the view a little bit.
And Brian, as you do, go on down to Floyd County, because I want to just got some new information. Got a heads up from the folks at the National Weather Service. They're the ones that issue the warnings. They're saying they're going to allow this tornado warning in Floyd County to expire at 11:45. And so the rotation here is significant but fairly broad. So because of that, the tornado threat diminishing, at least for now, but this is not an end to the threat of severe weather in Floyd County. So just want to give you a heads up. The tornado warning at 11:45 is going to expire, and we're going to continue to watch this very carefully because this system, so we've got some strong winds and broad rotation here, but a couple of areas that we're going to watch where kind of the green and the red getting close to each other. So the tornado warning expiring here, excuse me, in Floyd County in just 2 minutes, but just stay tuned. The threat not quite over yet, and we're going to continue to watch that, but just wanted to make sure you were aware when that Floyd County tornado warning expires, stay tuned because it's not completely fallen apart. And then we have the tornado warning here. This is the new warning that was extended out towards the east from earlier. So that warning expires at 12:15, another 30 minutes or so. The storm, the rotating part of the storm that we're tracking just south of Calhoun has crossed I-75, is moving east of Calhoun, so pulling away from Calhoun. If you're watching in Damascus, you're watching in Calhoun, the tornado threat is over for you. At the same time, it's moving to Farmville now and Sonoraville. The tornado threat, the damaging wind potential, that's going up for you. Around Fairmont Highway, there's Farmville, there's Sonoraville, east side of your screen, and there's the green and the red indicating the rotation there. So this tornado warning in effect until 12:15 into Gordon County. We still have a tornado warning in effect, including the city of Calhoun and Damascus. Although technically the warning has not dropped yet, you're in the clear. The threat has come to an end for you. But from Farmville in 2 minutes, Fairmount in 16, that threat increasing. Get to your safe space now. Farmville, you're running out of time. Fairmount, you still have 15 minutes. Leadville, if it holds together that long, you're not in the tornado warning. You're just east of it, 24 minutes. And time of arrival into Talmadge, about 26 minutes as this rotating part of the storm continues to move across Gordon County as it spreads to the east. Brian, I want to show a wider view of the reflectivity because as we do, we can see a transition that we've seen from, if you're tuned in, Channel 2 Action News 456, the updates I did through prime time this evening, these storms were more individual thunderstorms, but you can see it's really transitioned to a line. It's all settled into more of a linear shape. And when you have a line of thunderstorms, the most likely type of severe weather is damaging straight line winds. Now, 60, potentially 70 mile an hour winds with this line of storms as it's moving into the metro area can cause serious problems. That can take down trees. A tree on a house caused by a straight line wind can cause significant damage, of course, even potentially as much damage as a weak tornado. But tornadoes, of course, overall cause more serious damage, more significant damage, have stronger winds. And so the idea here, the fact that this is transitioning more to a line versus the individual supercell thunderstorms, because it's more of a line, the tornado threat starting to diminish, the severe straight line wind threat going up a little bit. Now, as we have a line of storms and we have the potential for damaging straight line winds, we still have, in a situation like tonight, the potential for some embedded areas that spin up and cause tornadoes. So that's still a possibility. Tornado warning's been allowed to expire, as I told you, around Rome. We still have broad rotation here. We're going to watch this area very carefully, potentially some rotation along I-27, but not an imminent tornado threat. Two areas we're highlighting, one west of Rome. If you've gone to your safe space in Rome, my advice to you would be just stay there for a few minutes. We have a low rotation just to the west. We're in a severe thunderstorm. You've gone to your safe space. Just stay there. This storm's going to be over in Rome in just a few minutes. Just hang in there. Strong winds and strong rotation now. Here's Calhoun. The tornado threats ended in Calhoun. The strong rotation here approaching Fairmont. You can see it here. So the green, these are strong winds blowing towards, and the red away from the radar. So right here, that's a radar signature of a tornado, and that's headed east towards Fairmont. So look at the wind speeds. 54-mile-an-hour winds measured towards the radar beam, and strong winds blowing just literally less than a mile, and in some cases maybe yards away or hundreds of yards to the east. Strong winds in the opposite direction. So we have strong winds 50 miles an hour plus to the south, and very strong winds to the east as the radar updates. So South Lake Road there's Fairmont. If you haven't gone to your safe space at Fairmont, you need to do that now. This rotating part of the storm, this tornado signature on radar headed in your direction in just minutes from you. It's moving 30 miles an hour. So there's Fairmont, there's Sonoraville. It's now moving safely east of Farmville. The threat's going to be ending for Sonoraville in the next few minutes, and just minutes from Fairmont. Again, lowest level of your house. If you have a basement, that's your first choice every time. Otherwise, you just go to the ground floor. Then, when you're in your lowest level, then you get into an interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outside of the building as possible, and you stay away from windows. So just a few minutes before the tornadic part of this storm makes it into Fairmont. Already raining there, of course, and this is embedded within a much larger area of severe weather. In fact, you have to look carefully, but follow my finger here. You see this yellow line? This is a severe thunderstorm warning for this entire area, and it's along the leading edge where you have those strongest straight line winds. So meteorologist Brian Monahan and Ashley Kramlich here, driving Storm Tracker 2 HD. We're all tracking these storms as they move into and through now the northwestern parts of the metro area. So damaging straight line winds in Ranger and Fairmont, Cedartown now. A new severe thunderstorm warning was just issued, and it goes all the way through parts of Cherokee, Cobb, Paulding, through Polk County now under a severe thunderstorm warning. I mean, this is massive. This is until 12:30, so about 45 minutes or so. This entire area under a severe thunderstorm warning because this entire line has a potential of producing damaging straight line winds, 60 and possibly 70 mile an hour straight line winds, and embedded within it some damaging, not just damaging winds, but embedded within it some rotation and the potential for some tornado touchdowns. So that's what we're seeing here. The tornado threat has ended in Calhoun and continues just to the east. The severe thunderstorm warning, it includes Cobb, but not only Cobb. So it includes parts of Cobb, the northern half of Paulding County, including Dallas, the northern, say, 2/3 of Polk County, including Cedartown, all of Bartow County under a severe thunderstorm warning, almost all of Cherokee with the exception of the easternmost, and most of Pickens County under a severe thunderstorm warning. For now, Fulton County, the counties to the east and south metro not under any warnings. And the only tornado warning is for this rotating part of the storm in Gordon County. And we've been tracking it very carefully, myself, meteorologist Ashley Kramlich, and meteorologist Brian Monahan. And so we've got this area of rotation near and just to the southwest of Fairmont. There's 411. Here's Calhoun and I-75. Tornado warning technically still in effect, hasn't been dropped yet, but the tornado threat has ended for Calhoun and Damascus. No tornado risk now. And in fact, the storms will be moving out in improving conditions over the next hour or so. But we have that tornado risk with the area of strong winds and rotation there west and southwest of Fairmont. And then this area, although this is green and red next to each other, this is not an indication of rotation. This is a sign of some strong straight line winds here moving through along I-75 and through Bartow County, tracking towards the south and east. Strong straight line winds moving through Kingston now, approaching White, and heads up in Cartersville. These strong winds moving your direction. We're locked at 45, 50, 48 miles an hour, and the potential for some 60 to 70 mile an hour winds with some of the stronger gusts. Let's go back into Floyd County. We've been watching that area of rotation. There was a tornado warning in Floyd County. It's weakened, it's broadened out, and we still have that, so it's passing now south of Rome, the threat really ending very rapidly around Rome over the next 5 minutes or so. You're in your safe space in Rome, hang out there for another 4 or 5 minutes and you're going to be good. The storm will last a little bit longer, but the severe weather threat is going to be passing. This is the area that we're watching for some rotation. Now, this is not a tornado signature, but it's a sign that this storm has not yet lost its punch, and there still is a little bit of rotation there just southeast of Rome. No lofted debris signature, but certainly some strong winds. Harley, Cartersville, Emerson, Kingston, strong winds move in your direction as it continues to track towards the east. And this tornado warning is scheduled to expire in just a few minutes, but not yet. So we still have this area of rotation just southwest of Fairmont in Gordon County. That tornado warning in effect until 12:15. Yeah, Brian?
Sorry to interrupt. I'm just going to get that new information in. A new tornado warning just about to be issued into Pickens County, North Cherokee County. So it's going to be this area here just off to the south and west of Fairmount. We're still watching that rotation now coming out of Gordon County. That's going to clip northeast parts of Bartow County, perhaps southern parts of Pickens County, and far northern Cherokee County. So if you're near Lake Arrowhead, Waleska area, you need to be taking those tornado precautions right now.
So that's an extension of the earlier tornado warning. So the tornado, we've got 3 areas with tornado warnings. One here to the north that's about to expire at midnight. That threat's ended. Another now here moving into Fairmont. That warning expires at 12:15, but that threat continues. So that's the new tornado warning Brian was just telling us about. He's been communicating with the folks at the Weather Service that issue the warnings. So he's got an early heads up that the tornado threat now increasing for parts of Cherokee and Pickens County for this part of the storm as it tracks to the east. These areas already under severe thunderstorm warning, but as Brian's highlighting here with the telestrator, that tornado threat near Fairmont and just to the south is tracking towards the east. So that warning to be issued here in the next few minutes. We can do a storm track here as this moves into Pickens and parts of Cherokee County. Looks like it's going to pass north of Canton, near into the north of Waleska, potentially affecting Jasper. Certainly Talmadge is in the path.
That warning's just out, Brad.
10 minutes, Jasper in 28 minutes. The tornado warning just being issued now. We're going to see that red polygon pop up on the map here in just a minute. And I've got it. So a tornado warning for northern Cherokee, southeastern Gordon, southern Pickens, and northeastern Bartow County until 12:30. So here it is, the area that we've been tracking near Fairmont, and this is the new tornado warning Brian was telling us about. Again, portions of Cherokee, Gordon, Pickens, and Bartow County. This new tornado warning, excuse me, in effect until 12:30, so 35 minutes from now. It's picking up forward speed. This is now moving at 50 miles an hour to the east. The radar's been indicating a possible tornado near Fairmont, and it's headed generally towards Jasper, Ball Ground, Nelson, Waleska, Fairmount, and off towards the east. Tate, Funkhauser, those are areas that could be impacted by the storm. So let's do this now. Here's the updated storm track into Talmadge in 6 minutes, Ball Ground in 20, Nelson 20 minutes, Holcomb in 26. So we're talking about the northwest metro and kind of the southern part of the North Georgia mountains. So here's Jasper. You are in the tornado warning as this rotating part of the storm, tornado touchdown, is headed generally towards the east. It's going to pass very near or potentially just to the south of Jasper, Nelson, Ball Ground. You're in the tornado warning. Canton, you are not. So here's 575 in Canton. I expect this portion of the storm, the tornado, near Fairmont, now pushing to the east, will pass north of Canton. Now the severe thunderstorm near White headed towards Canton, so some strong, potentially damaging straight line winds there. Here's the area where we've got the rotation near and just to the south of Fairmont. Waleska, you're in the path of this storm, and then off towards the east. So here's Waleska, there's 575, there's the area of rotation. So we've got some strong winds in this entire area. We'll do some storm tracks here. Near Fairmont, you want to be in your safe space. Waleska, you want to be in your safe space. Jasper, Nelson, Ball Ground, as Brian was pointing out, the potential for development in 2 locations here. We've got very strong winds, and down around White in northern and northeastern parts of Bartow County, south of the tornado threat, this is a damaging straight line wind threat, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. And remember, the forward speed of these storms now has really picked up. So this is moving to Talmadge in about 5 minutes, Waleska in 8. Ball Ground, Nelson, Jasper, Canton, all about 19 minutes from now, and then South Canton, 21. And then that's the overall severe weather risk for the damaging straight line winds, and embedded within that, we've got a couple of isolated spots with possible tornado touchdowns. Brian?
Those two distinct areas, one that prompted this new tornado warning, again, that's near Fairmount. And now the Weather Service seeing and mentioning what we're pointing out here live for you as we analyze and look at Storm Tracker 2 HD radar together. Again, we've been warning you about this possibility for strong and severe thunderstorms the last several days. And here we go. We're going to stay together with you here as this threat moves through. So also watching this new area of rotation that's developed just on the south side of the tornado warning. So this is far northwestern Cherokee County, far northeastern Bartow County. Let me draw a line here, give you a little perspective here. This is the edge of the tornado warning, but there's some new rotation that's developing here on the eastern side, or southeastern side of this line. So watching this for the possibility of an additional tornado warning being issued. Also keeping a close eye on some rotation again up here near Fairmount. We have straight line winds at any point along this line from Fairmount down toward White, across I-75 toward 411, so southeast of Kingston. We have the possibility of basically what we call some inflow, some air turning into the leading edge of this line of strong and severe thunderstorms and curling up, Brad, and essentially potentially producing additional brief spin-up tornadoes. So overall, the main risk along this entire line is going to be that damaging straight line wind gust risk, but additional tornado warnings will be possible along this leading edge as it makes its way into the Northwest Metro.
Yeah, and this is the same storm that moved through Chattooga County, and I want to point this out. We're just getting in a report from local emergency manager in Chattooga County of large tree across the road. This is Center Post in Chattooga County near the intersection of Highway 157 and Valley View Ranch Road. So again, getting more and more of these damage reports in, unfortunately. That one from Chattooga County. Another one, tree on a power line along Peach Orchard Road near Menlo in Chattooga County. So this is the storm that moved through Chattooga County, northern Floyd, Gordon County, and now is here in southeastern Gordon, moving into Pickens, moving through the northeastern part of Bartow and in northwestern Cherokee County. This is the same storm that had, unfortunately, a path of damage and destruction and tracking to the east. Right now, watching some potential rotation developing here southwest of White. Certainly some strong winds in this area. And then west of Waleska, some strong winds. Fairmount, and then you go a little bit farther to the north. Things improving around Calhoun and Damascus. You see the tornado warning there? This is going to drop off the screen in a moment, expiring now at midnight. The tornado threat has been over for several minutes, but continues here near Fairmount, and another area of rotation just northwest of Waleska. This is moving quickly towards the east. There's 575. So along the leading edge of this, damaging straight line winds, and embedded, what Brian, Ashley, and I are showing you are these isolated spots where we have some rotation, and any one of those could spin up to a tornado. And we're starting to see, we have seen that near Fairmount, and that's the reason for the extended tornado warning. What Brian's drawing here is the leading edge of the overall severe weather, the overall severe thunderstorm. This is moving quick now, 50 miles an hour. So it's really picked up forward speed, was earlier moving about 30, now 50 mile an hour forward motion. And so that's bringing the storm, Beasley Gap and Waleska, over the next few minutes into Jasper and Fields Landing, 9 minutes, Victoria Landing in 11 minutes. That's all around Allatoona Lake. Canton and South Canton, 12 minutes, Cherokee in 12, Nelson in 14, Ball Ground in 15. Now, Jasper, Nelson, Ball Ground, also in the tornado warning, the portion of the storm with possible tornado development here, and that's also pushing towards the east. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning. We have some isolated spots with a rotation, possible tornado warnings, and that strong wind threat approaching Taylorsville, Aragon, and Rockport. This is a straight line wind signature here, also towards White. And then we've seen a little bit more rotation kind of on the northern end of this system. And again, we're starting to get in reports, several reports have come in from Chattooga County of trees down and power lines down, trees blocking intersection, trees on homes. So we're just at midnight tonight. It's going to be tomorrow until after the sun rises where we start to get real good handle on the extent of the damage But remember, if you have to go out and you see a power line down, they very likely are live power lines, but there's no way to know. So you want to treat them all as live power lines. Severe weather, the severe thunderstorm now, you can see how quickly it's moving towards the east. This is a 30-minute storm track. So going from northeastern and eastern parts of Floyd County into Cherokee County already. The leading edge is where we have the strongest straight line wind damage potential. There's Alatoona Lake, there's Canton 575. The weather going downhill across Cherokee County over the next 45 minutes or so, already beginning in the northwestern part of the county and spreading to the east. So from around, say, Kennesaw Mountain there at the tip of my finger, through east and northeast Cobb, Sweat Mountain there, back towards the west. The northern part of Cobb County under the severe thunderstorm warning. That storm's racing in your direction. It's going to be moving through over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Cedartown, we're looking at strong winds and very heavy rain. But look back towards the west. The rain tapers off just northwest of Rome, and although we have some showers in Chattooga County, for those of you that were unfortunately hit so hard in Chattooga County, the severe weather threat has come to an end. The rain will be tapering off here shortly, and we see that strong thunderstorm signature all the way from the North Georgia mountains. The severe weather threat is really focused now parts of the north and northwest metro, and then back into parts of eastern Alabama. We do have one tornado warning here about midway between Gadsden and Birmingham, so we have to keep our eyes on that as it moves into Cleburne County, eastern Alabama, part of our viewing area, and then parts of West Georgia and the West Metro. We'll have to see if that holds together. We'll be tracking that into the night. But this is a threat that is going to gradually diminish in the hours ahead, but unfortunately not yet falling apart. Right now we've got strong winds. We've got that tornado warning to the north. We have strong winds here approaching Canton. We have some rotation here in southwestern Pickens County that's triggered that tornado warning and that threat from Jasper to Nelson to Ball Ground. Not a great radar signature, which is great news. I mean, by saying it's not a great radar signature, I mean it's not a well-defined radar signature. So a poor radar signature, great news, but still the threat continues here and certainly damaging straight line winds. And you can see where we've got a few spots where kind of looks like a little bit of a notch, a little green and red. And we're going to watch any of these for some possible spin-ups. But right now, the primary threat here in Cherokee County is for damaging straight line winds. But as we see with the telestrator, this is the winds here. So we've got that convergence here within this line of thunderstorms as it moves through. So we've got winds being drawn up into the thunderstorm and then those strong, potentially damaging thunderstorm winds hitting the ground and spreading out. So here's this storm. So winds can be drawn up into it and then along the leading edge where we can have that severe weather threat. Back towards Adairsville, the worst is over for you. Rome, the worst will be coming to an end here shortly. Tornado threat diminishing over Gordon County, but continuing now into parts of Pickens and extreme northern parts of Cherokee County. Cedartown, you're being impacted by a severe thunderstorm, and that storm now moving through northern parts of Polk County and headed off into Paulding County. Storm Tracker 2 HD looking at the relative velocity. So we look at the overall wind speed and direction, and then you subtract from that the overall motion of the storms, and it helps us pick out some of the signatures of some of the strongest winds. We're seeing really two areas. One here in northwestern parts of Cherokee and eastern Bartow County, and then another moving out of Floyd into southwestern Bartow and northern sections of Polk County. So strong winds there. And then the rotation with the thunderstorm that has triggered that tornado warning includes parts of Pickens County, northern sections of Cherokee, and we're starting to see that threat come to an end in Gordon County and moving out of northeastern Bartow County. That is the tornado threat. The overall line continues to sag into and through the metro area. Brian?
If you are forecast map, so we're watching this line now coming across northwest Georgia. Let me give you a perspective here of how much longer we need to stay weather aware, how much longer we're going to watch this line stay and move through North Georgia. Midnight tonight, so right now you can see that line from Blairsville, moving in through Cherokee County, Bartow County, Paulding County, back through Carrollton. So that's where the risk remains there and south and east. Now, if you live northwest of this line, your severe weather risk is over with for the night. So northwest Georgia, far northwest Georgia, still some showers around, but things are quickly improving there. As we go toward about 2 o'clock in the morning, we're going to watch that risk of strong and severe thunderstorms move through the heart of metro Atlanta. This line will be weakening, but still the possibility of those 50, 60+ mile per hour wind gusts, frequent lightning, heavy rain, and the possibility of a breeze spin up tornado, though diminishing, will remain. And by the time we hit 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, this storm threat will be quickly moving out and much quieter weather is going to move in. So we'll be looking forward to that over the next couple of hours. So it's going to be a process over the next 2 to 3 hours or so, but gradually from northwest to southeast, we're going to be able to give you the all clear. Of course, Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz, Meteorologist Ashley Kramlich, and I are going to stay with you every step of the way as this line of storms makes its way across North Georgia. So again, we look at Live Storm Tracker 2 HD radar showing the core of the line from Blairsville to Ellijay. An active tornado warning, 2 active tornado warnings now, includes Gordon County, Cherokee County, Pickens County, and Northeast Bartow County. I want to step over getting some new information and getting reports of wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour so far in Bartow County. Just a few minutes ago, about 10 minutes ago, reports from emergency management in Pickens County of a wall cloud observed. That was on the cyclone port camera in western Pickens County. So that kind of tracks with where we were seeing this rotating thunderstorm and why we have this active tornado warning and why we're with you now here at about 12:10 in the morning, and we'll stay with you as these warnings continue. So we're coming in close again. There's the tornado warning, includes Jasper, includes Nelson, North Cherokee County, Ball Ground, up along 575 to about Waleska. Heavy rain, 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and that possibility still of a brief tornado touchdown. Some hail also showing up near Waleska. Brad, I'm going to turn it back over to storm relative velocity. This is the way we can see how rain is moving. Shows us whether there's rotation in a thunderstorm. A lot of straight line wind evidence here, but not seeing that tight circulation at this point,
right,
and that's a good sign.
And I'm glad you point that out, because just getting word from the folks at the Weather Service, our local Weather Service office issues the actual tornado warnings, and they're saying the same thing that Brian and I are showing you, and so they're going to allow this warning to expire at 12:15, so still for another 6 minutes or so, but that tornado warning scheduled to expire at 12:15, and by what I mean by allowed to expire means that it's going to expire and it's not going to be reissued unless it spins up again. So the overall transition has been a slow one, but it's gone from individual storms, individual supercell thunderstorms, to a more linear formation, a line of storms. And so as this process has happened, the threat has gone from tornadoes and large hail to more damaging straight line wind. So it's a gradual process and it doesn't flip a switch, but that has been the trend, and fortunately we're seeing that. So this area of rotation has really broadened out a bit, and so that tornado warning here for southeastern Gordon County allowed to expire at 12:15. We're going to watch to see how long we need to keep that going here for parts of Pickens and Cherokee County, but it looks like that threat is diminishing. We have a strong wind threat here from Kingston to Cartersville and Taylorsville approaching Rockmart, and we're going to watch for a rotation here within this. But again, the overall risk is transitioning, not completely ending a tornado threat, but it's transitioning more to a straight line wind threat. As we expand the view, we still have an active tornado warning. We're going to watch here in Alabama, not an immediate concern for us, but it's something that's upstream. And then we have this tornado threat in parts of Pickens and Cherokee County starting to diminish a bit. So we'll keep our eyes on this as well as it tracks east. These storms are racing now. The other thing to show you is this yellow line. So watch my fingers. It's kind of hard to pick out, but you see this line here? This is the outer edge of the current severe thunderstorm warning that's issued for this entire area moving into the northwest metro. So embedded within this, we've been watching a couple small spots with rotation and a very large area of damaging straight line wind potential. And that current severe thunderstorm warning expires at 12:30, likely, I believe, to be expanded to the south and east. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning for damaging straight line winds over 60 miles an hour, and then the potential for a little bit of rotation within these storms that could cause a brief tornado to spin up. But we're seeing less in the way of a tornado threat and more of a way of a straight line wind threat. But again, We've got some rotation here east of Kingston, one area that we're watching where the green and the red kind of wrapping up here, and you could imagine a little bit of rotation here as the green and the red coming together. So it's kind of on the northern edge, kind of the apex of this bulge in the storm, one of the areas that we can see some rotation. That means tornado threat not over, obviously, and the damaging straight line wind threat continues. So we'll do a storm track here. These have been moving at about 50 miles an hour. So this part of the storm, strong winds near Kingston. We'll watch for some rotation developing, moving into White in 10 minutes, Fields Landing in 22, Waleska in 25, then Canton, South Canton and Canton 27, 28 minutes from now as it tracks east. I recognize all of these areas currently being impacted by a strong or severe storm, but that's the portion of the storm. We're seeing a little bit of rotation, not a tornado warning for this, but we're wanting to give you an early heads up on that threat as it tracks to the east. Let's give a wider view just to look at the overall line of storms, and you can see it extends from the North Georgia mountains moving into Rabun County now. This northern end of this line of storms has not triggered any severe weather warnings in a while. And by that I mean it was a few hours ago we had a tornado warning for a storm that crossed northwest Georgia. A tornado warning included western Gilmer County, but was allowed to expire, was actually canceled early and replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. So no tornado in Ellijay or Gilmer County, fortunately. A lot of lightning here in the North Georgia mountains. 326 cloud to ground lightning strikes in this view just in the last 10 minutes. But the severe weather threat now is focused from Pickens County near Jasper through the western and southwestern part of the metro area. We still have active tornado warning. Allowed to expire at 12:15 is the latest thinking with that, but that doesn't mean the threat completely comes to an end. We still have the overall severe thunderstorm threat and some embedded areas with a little rotation that we're going to watch for the potential for tornado development. We had some very well-defined supercell thunderstorms with tornadoes in northeastern Alabama move into northwest Georgia, but since then we're seeing these less well-defined, and it's really morphed into a line. So we're watching this area here, strong winds between Kingston and White, Cartersville and Emerson as Brian tracks that or draws that. That's the area where some of the strongest wind gusts moving into Cartersville now. 60-mile-an-hour winds, those can take down trees, tree limbs, and power lines. So I'd encourage you just to hunker down in your safe space. Remember, lowest level, interior room, away from windows. We're looking at 45 to nearly 50-mile-an-hour winds here, measured by the radar beam at the beam height, a few thousand feet above the ground here, moving into Cartersville and Emerson as it continues its track towards the east. So we've had several reports come in so far of damaging wind gusts. That potential continues for us. The tornado warning for southeastern Gordon County going to be expiring as we speak. Let's go to that wider view there, Brian, for the tornado warning. Let's get a handle on that. So this tornado warning here in southeastern Gordon County expiring at 12:15. This tornado warning for this storm is still in effect until 12:30. But boy, it is not a very strong signature. So there's that tornado warning. That's expired. We still have this one tornado warning for another 15 minutes or so.
Just canceled.
Yeah,
right?
I was just going to say, as we speak, that tornado warning canceled. So tornado warning canceled for this storm. For the first time in many hours, I'm happy to report we have no tornado warnings in effect in Metro Atlanta or North Georgia. We're going to continue our coverage here for a few minutes because we still have a severe weather threat that's serious moving into the metro area, but we can drop this tornado warning banner. We have no tornado warnings in effect for the metro area, but this is not over. Unfortunately, more wind damage with even straight line winds. That's the potential with this line as it comes through. The tornado threat is not over for the night, but it's over for the moment. We're going to continue to watch this line of strong and severe storms for some embedded areas of rotation. Another tornado warning may still be issued, but not right now. Our threat currently is damaging straight line winds in Canton, Cartersville, approaching Ackworth and Dallas, this line. And the other thing I want to point out is the tornado warning that was in effect for this storm between Birmingham and Gadsden has also come to an end. So we have no tornado warnings in effect for this line in Georgia or Alabama for the first time since early this evening. It's been a long night. I appreciate you staying here with us. Meteorologist Ashley Kramlich, Brian Monahan, and myself have been with you for hours. We're not going to discontinue our coverage just yet. Although we don't have an imminent tornado threat, we do have a serious severe thunderstorm threat as it heads through the metro area. And we've got a few spots that we're going to continue to watch. I don't want to end our continuous coverage as these storms are moving into some of the most populated parts of metro Atlanta with a serious threat. So we're looking at two areas. We're highlighting here this one spot. These are strong severe thunderstorm winds spreading out from the storm. You see it here. You can imagine strong winds from a storm hitting the ground and spreading out. That's what Brian's highlighting here in Cherokee County. And also Bartow, northwestern Paulding, and eastern parts of Polk County. Severe thunderstorm winds. Now along this line, we have seen some spin-up tornadoes, and that threat's not completely over yet, but the yellow is highlighting the severe thunderstorm warning. That's in effect until 12:30. We're going to stay with you at least until 12:30, potentially longer, depending on how this threat evolves. But we have a serious severe thunderstorm threat for the western and northwestern parts of the metro area. Meteorologist Brian Monahan is going to take you through some of those updated storm tracks. Brian?
And actually want to pass along some new storm reports, some damage reports. This is from Cherokee County Emergency Management. They just lost power at their Emergency Operations Center, starting to get a lot of down tree calls in Cherokee County. Flooding reported in Floyd County, reports of flash flooding along East 2nd Avenue. That's near Atrium Health Floyd, and another at US 411 Chateau Drive. So some reports there, and also some reports near Cherokee High School of heavy rain and wind, traffic lights blowing sideways. Again, no surprise there with that very strong wind that's blowing out from these storms. So damaging straight line winds continue to be a concern. Now, as we look at the velocity mode of Storm Tracker 2 HD, again, keeping a very close eye still for the next 15, 20 minutes or so, if not longer. Again, we're going to continue to monitor this area that's had a history of producing tornado warnings, prompting tornado warnings, and we've seen these curl-ups of rotation within this line from parts of South Pickens County, but really into Cherokee County, across Bartow County, and now getting down into Paulding County. So I want to switch over to the reflectivity mode of Storm Tracker 2 HD, primarily seeing heavy rain. While we're not dealing with large hail, I do want to point out we do have several areas of purple here on our reflectivity mode of Storm Tracker 2 HD here between Cartersville and Ackworth. Also here in parts of Cleburne County, way down at the bottom of your screen. Those are likely pea-sized hail falling out of some of these storms. Some new damage reports in, Brad, just in the last 30 seconds. I imagine we're going to see a lot more of these over the next several hours. This is from Floyd County Emergency Management. Fire department there responding to Big Texas Valley Road. That's near Huffacre, and possible lightning strike and a field fire there. So a brush fire started by it. All of that lightning. Again, let's turn on our lightning tracker 2 and show you still at this late hour, now early hour of the morning, in this particular part of the line that's most intense, stretching from parts of Alabama across far north Georgia, 600 lightning strikes in just the last few minutes.
That's a ton of lightning. That's one of the main risks. But I want to step in again to show you this new severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued. So in some ways, good news. But this is not a new tornado warning. It's a severe thunderstorm threat, which is still significant. And this is for a huge section of our area until 1 a.m. It's basically for almost all of the northern and northeastern part of the metro area. Let me go through the list. Central Paulding, Cherokee, northwestern DeKalb, Cobb, northern Gwinnett, southern Dawson, Hall, northeastern Fulton, and southeastern Pickens County until 1 a.m. This is the new severe thunderstorm warning. This warning issued for damaging straight line winds in this line. Now, see here, as Brian was pointing out, a couple of spots where we have some purple and potentially likely some small hail within that. But our overall severe weather threat has made a transition from tornado warnings, which were exclusively being issued early, now to severe thunderstorm warnings. So again, the tornado threat hasn't completely come to an end. We want to stay with you at least till 12:30, potentially a little bit longer depending on how this develops in our continuous coverage. But we will be here with you through the night as these storms come on through. But here's what we're looking at. Strong straight line winds continue. This new severe thunderstorm warning is for the continuation of that severe thunderstorm threat that we've had here over the next few minutes. Brian's highlighting an area just northwest of Ackworth, so that's near and just to the west of Allatoona Lake. 575, there's Emerson, some strong winds. A little bit of rotation here. That's not a tornado signature, but it's the kind of thing that we want to keep our eyes on very closely because it could still spin up. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. Typically, we keep this continuous weather coverage going only for tornado warnings, but we've just come out of unfortunately what appears to have been a significant tornado outbreak where we've had multiple tornado warnings and the threat's not completely over. So we're going to hang here for a few minutes and watch it. And we do have this tornado warning in Alabama for the